Hello students, how are you? You all are, I hope you all are fine. So in my last video I had explained what is Ohm's law, and just I want to recall it back. So Ohm's law is a relation between the potential difference across a conductor and the current through it. Conductor can be a wire of copper or aluminum, it is generally, isn't it here? So this is Ohm's law. So it is a relation between potential difference and the current. Now turn the page. Okay. This is a graph. Graph is about about the potential difference and the current. Now look at current is in the x-axis and potential difference on the y-axis. So the current here now, current and potential difference, so they are proportional to each other. It means that when one will increase, other will also increase. When one will decrease, the other will also decrease. The potential difference depends on the current. Therefore, current is in the x-axis and the potential difference is on the y-axis. So so the graph between current and the potential difference is a straight line. This straight line indicates that potential difference is directly proportional to the current flowing in a conductor. It's okay? Did you follow now? Yes. So now in 1827 a German physicist, George Simon Ohm, found out the relation between the current flowing in the metallic wire and the potential difference across its terminal. Just to honor his name, it has been named as Ohm's law because he founded it. That is why it has named as Ohm's law. So how can you define Ohm's law? So Ohm's law can be defined as the potential difference V across the end of a given metallic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. Yes, the potential difference is directly proportional to the current flowing in a conductor. Okay, and the condition is that provided its temperature remains the same, it is here. Yes, one condition is that you must have to mention that the temperature should remain constant, then this law will be followed, otherwise not it is here. Because with increase in temperature the Ohm's law, or decrease in temperature the Ohm's law will not be followed. The temperature should be constant, it is. So this is called Ohm's law. In other words, here now like V is proportional to I. What is V here? V is the potential difference, I is the current. So V by I is equal to a constant. This I has been brought to the left hand side, so V is equal to V by I is equal to constant, and that constant is taken as R here. Now what is R? R is the R is the constant for a given metallic wire. Yes, R is constant for a given metallic wire. For copper wire it is different, for aluminum wire it is different, for silver wire it is different. So it is constant for a given metallic wire. So ultimately what we get now here, so V is equal to IR. V is equal to IR. So V is equal to IR means I is the current, R is the resistance. So it is the property. And what is R? What is the resistance? So it is a property of a conductor to resist the flow of charges through it. Yes, R, resistance is the property of a conductor. Different conductors means different wires, they have different property of resisting charges. Charges means electrons. Copper, aluminum resist more than copper, and the copper resists more than silver. So silver is the best conductor, means it resists least amount of resistance to flow to flow the charges. So the SI unit of unit is ohm. It is here. So resistance has the SI unit ohm, just to honor, okay, George Simon Ohm, because he had discovered this law. Therefore, just to honor his name, it has been, the resistance has the SI unit ohm, respectively represented by the Greek letter. This is called omega. This is known as omega. This is omega. It is here. The symbol of this is omega. So according to the Ohm's law, V is equal to R is equal to V by I. R is equal to V by I. R is the resistance, V is the potential difference, I is the current. So okay. Yes, next. If the potential difference across two ends of a conductor is 1 V and the current through it is 1 ampere, then the resistance of the conductor is 1 ohm. So this is the definition of 1 ohm. Okay, when when the resistance, when the PD, potential difference of the conductor, is 1 volt and the current flowing through is 1 ampere, then the resistance of that metallic wire or the conductor will be 1 ohm. So that is 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt by 1 ampere. 1 volt by 1 ampere. I is equal to V by R. It is. Okay. So it is obvious from the equation that current through the resistor is inversely proportional to its resistance. Now, okay, yes, okay. Just it here, the current here, I is the current. Current is directly proportional to potential difference, but current is inversely proportional to the resistance. So okay, inversely proportional it is here. Means if the resistance will be more, less amount of current will flow. If the resistance will be less, more amount of current will flow, like this. If the resistance is double, the current gets half. Yes, if you make it double, it will get half. Okay. In many practical cases, it is necessary to increase or decrease the current in an electric circuit. Yes. Just now we have fan in our home. If you want to move it slower, then we have to. Then there is a regulator. We can regulate the current flowing, okay, in the fan. If you put it on one, less amount of current will flow, okay, because at that position the resistance of, okay, it is too much, it is here. So when you make it, and the fan will move slower. If you move it to 5, regulator, if you move it to 5, okay, more amount of current will pass and the fan will move faster. So in current and a component used to regulate current through charging a voltage, for charging the voltage source is called variable resistance. Yes. So regulator of the fan is a example of variable resistance. It has 5 resistance at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The resistance at place 1 is more, the resistance at place 2 is a bit less, and the resistance if you at 5 is the least one it is. So that is called variable resistance. In an electric circuit, a device called rheostat, yes, rheostat. So the regulator of the fan is called the rheostat, is often used to change the resistance in the currents. It's okay. So this is, now this is Ohm's law is completed. This is very important. It usually comes in the examination. Now the next, look here, something here in the here. This is the experiment given here in activity 12.2. This is a nichrome wire. This is 110 watt bulb. This is a torch bulb. So all these have been fitted here now. First of all, this is fitted here now. This is a metallic wire here. This is the key. This is the source of current. This is ammeter. You know, ammeter is always fitted in the series in an electric circuit. Then the 10 watt bulb, it is, then it is torch. What the result is that certain components offers an easy path for the flow of electric current while the others resist the flow. Okay, when the resistance is less, the current will flow in, okay, in that direction. When the resistance is more, the current will choose a simpler path, means easy path, means which have very less resistance to flow that way. So we know that motion of electron in an electric circuit constitute an electric current. Yes, motion of electrons. So that is the charge. Okay. Electrons, however, are not completely free to move within a conductor. Yes, they are not completely free to move in a conductor. They are restrained by the attraction of atoms among which they move. Yes, they are okay. They are not allowed easily. Electrons are not allowed easily to move because atoms are there. So those atoms, okay, prevent their, okay, the path, prevent their path. They doesn't allow it to move, okay, easily. It is here. Thus motion of electrons through a conductor is retarded by its resistance. Yes, if the resistance is more, okay, the electron will have to do a lot of work to move. Okay, component of a given size that offers a low resistance is a good conductor. Yes, a conductor of a given size, okay, 1 meter, 2 meter, like this is a given size, offers a low resistance is a good conductor. A good conductor can be, silver is the best conductor, then copper, then aluminum, okay, then tungsten it is. Right? So these are the good conductor. Best conductor is the silver. Second best is the copper. Third best is the aluminum. Usually wires are made up of copper or aluminum because they are cheaper. So a conductor having some appreciable resistance is called the resistors. Now you can think about this tungsten. Tungsten has some appreciable resistance. It doesn't allow electrons to flow freely here. That is why tungsten has some resistance. Therefore, tungsten is called the resistor. A compound of identical size that offers a higher resistance is a poor conductor. Yes. Those who allow the current to go through but offers a very high resistance, then they are known as poor conductor. And an insulator at the same size offers even higher resistance. And an insulator, okay, which resists very high resistance, means it doesn't allow current to pass through at all. This is known as insulator. Right? So today this much, and now then in the next video I will just relate the resistivity. Okay. Yeah. Till here we have finished today. Now the next video I'll continue this.